Um, There's a card that kept coming out as I was shuffling this deck. And I decided to just pull it and do a video or do a message on it because it obviously wants to be explored. It was Queen's Rising. Let me pull it. Queen Rising, okay? I don't know if you could see it. It's beautiful. And it says Queen Archetype, Feminine Leadership. And this is the age of Aquarius, just budding here, just beginning. But I know a huge part of it, other than humanitarianism, is female leadership, female or divine feminine energy, pretty much, permeating areas where it was held back previously to make changes for the better of humanity. And so with that, let me take a look at the book. I did read through it, but I want to just skim here for a few pertinent. Queen Rising. You deserve to be celebrated. Embrace all you were meant to be. We celebrate birthdays, weddings, and graduations, but there's a significant transition often overlooked. The shift from childhood to adulthood. Indigenous cultures recognize this transition, imparting wisdom from elders to the younger generation. And then they talk about the good girl versus the little girl. The good girl or little girl archetype. Say yes, be a good girl, do as you're told, listen to others. From an early age, these expectations were clear. You were to follow the rules, think of others before yourself, and only then will you deserve to be praised and receive love. This has resulted in generations of women and men feeling exhausted, burnt out, and trapped in cycles of people pleasing. Good girl energy seeps into relationships, manifesting as over apologizing, toxic humility, weak boundaries as she avoids conflict, fearing judgment, and suppressing true feelings. She's also an abundance block, meaning the good girl, fearing visibility and settling for less. The good girl ignores personal needs, feeling helpless and blaming circumstances. This card invites you to release this outdated tendency and call upon your inner queen archetype instead. Contrary to the good girl archetype, the queen doesn't need to be liked by everyone. She doesn't need to be liked by everyone. She is a symbol of feminine wholeness. She is loving, but not a people pleaser. The queen is assertive, has strong boundaries, asks for help when needed, and boldly declares her desires. And I thought, this is the age of Aquarius. A lot of queens are rising. We are realizing this deep within. We're changing as a whole. We're demanding more. We're becoming more. We're expecting more of ourselves. And demanding less of ourselves at the same time. And also, this is also a time of cycles closing. So doors are opening up for us, and we are rising in that way as well. So that's why I thought it's very important to bring up this card. It wants to be seen. It wants light shed on it. And it's actually, they mentioned something about how we celebrate birthdays, and we don't celebrate pretty much like transitional phases or ascendancies or cycles closing, advancement, personal development. I think that you should do it for yourself, queen. Even it doesn't have to be recognized by anyone else. The celebration doesn't have to be shared unless you want it to be. But if it's a solo act, do something special for just you. Pamper yourself. Don't wait for someone else to do that for you or to give you permission to do that. Okay, so let's see here. I don't even know what deck to pair this card with. I want to do it some justice. All right, homemade deck it is. First up, let's see. All right. Prayer. Okay, you want to be seen first. I think that's very appropriate. Prayer. Before I could even get going, it caught my attention as I opened the deck. Yes, Queen. Prayer is something that's going to hold you through challenging times, through those times of being misunderstood, undervalued, underestimated especially. You know, you are a leader. More of us are going to be popping up in places where we're the first female leader, doing this, doing that. You think you're not going to get underestimated? Yeah, it's going to happen. But prayer, staying close to God who knows what you're capable of, who is sure, quite sure that you know, can handle business. That's what this is saying. Stay close to God. Okay, what else other than prayer, Holy Spirit, for our queens that are rising by the millions, I would say. I would hope all of us would rise. Okay. Okay, I'm not crazy. I've just been in a very bad mood for 40 years. Okay, well, sometimes, you know, being overwhelmed can make even the most angelic of us, you know, at our wits' end, irritable, or and it's not just women, you know, men also become, you know, at their wits' end about things, or highly frustrated and disappointed. We're human, okay? But I think this is what this is saying, is to expect those times and get into like an autopilot. Whenever you feel that creeping up, have like some kind of practice within you. It could be prayer. Like when you start to feel those tensions rise, automatically you know that's my time to go solo, to go meditate, or that's my time to go for a run, or that's my time to put on the headphones and dance. Whatever it is, they want you to build an automatic go-to for those moments, so that you don't erupt and become the, what do you call it, typical stereotype. There you go. Oh, we knew she couldn't handle it. Can you imagine it at a board meeting and you've had it with Tyler? He's you know, he's just said it one too many times, but you can't pop Tyler. You can't go off and rant a whole bunch of like words, colorful words as they will be. You can't do that. You will have a go-to. And this would be mental because you can't get up and dance. You can't go for a run. But practice it. You may have to like look at Tyler and just like, you know, picture something. I don't know, but then you may start laughing. But you will have your go-to, whatever works for you. And Spirit is saying, think of those ahead of time. You know, how am I going to deal with the Tylers of the world? No offense, Tyler. It's just the name that came to mind. But how am I going to deal with someone like that? You know, and they may really know how to get on my nerve. So, okay, that's one. All right. Oh, it's going to be worth it, because with leadership comes abundance. You know, God's not going to leave you hanging. You're going to get some financial increase out of it. And also abundance of joy, self-esteem, self-actualization, self-everything. You know, you'll be so fulfilled leading any area. It doesn't have to be just in the corporate world. Of course not. Of course not. And what's this? Frame. Steady income, organizing, accomplishments. Again, they're reinforcing that income increase, but also sense of accomplishment. Once again, you know, it can't be said enough. How many years, you know, It was like a token female. You would be surprised and proud to see a woman, a female leader of a country, of an organization, of a community, in politics, whatever. Now we're about to flood the scene. And I, for one, love it. Let's get some more. Big ambitions. Holy Spirit saying, don't hold back, women. Don't hold back. Imagine the most for yourself. Think like a man. Think as big as a man expects for his world to be, and bigger. Big ambitions. Use your potential to work diligently for your dreams. Overcome obstacles. This is saying, yes, as women, we have a lot of responsibilities, but so do men. And we can't let our dreams be put on hold for the mundane tasks, the everyday things that need to be dealt with in life, when men don't do that. So maybe it's time to think about, okay, well, if I have to do this project, if my dream means as much to me, and yours, well, then who's going to do this? Because it's not going to be me. We're going to have to take turns here, or we're going to have to pay for somebody to come in here and do that. Something's got to change, because I have just as many years on this planet as you, and I'm going to make use of them just as you are. Our dreams don't go in the back burner anymore. Wow. Innocent. I'm thinking most of the time, women, our version of leadership can vary from woman to woman, that's true. But for the most part, we are dedicated to protecting the innocent. You know what I mean? For us, when we think about what we want to do in this world or why we want to lead, the first thing that comes to mind is actually not, the income. It's not. It's actually, if I have power and influence, I'll finally be able to affect marginalized communities, underserved populations, people. I'll be able to go after the homeless situation. You know what I mean? The inadequate living conditions. I'll be able to attack those things. I'll be able to really make change. I'm head of a corporation. I decide what charities. Now, finally, I get to have a say. I get to make change in areas that have not been focused on, prioritized, with men at the helm. It just has not been. Yes, we want to protect the innocent. I'll get one more for this. You tell the truth, you own it, and you walk out with your head held high. Yes, women, we do, for the most part. I'm not saying there's not a few strays out there that don't govern with the truthful justice kind of like, demeanor or heart. But for the most part, yes, we own that truth. We tell it and we stand on it. That's our business, truth. You know how they say stand on business? Stand on truth. It will never fail you. Okay, let's see what else to add to this. All right, energy of the oracle. Let's see what they have to add to this. We already said abundance. I won't be surprised if something comes out of here about like daughter value or I don't know. Is that cornucopia or something like that? Winning leadership, Holy Spirit. Oh, I wasn't expecting this. Here we are talking about women, and who shows up? A man, of course. Man holding a heart. So, Yes, you will be far more attractive in your leadership attire. Not just your what you wear and how you know appear on the outside or the exterior, but just also your confidence. Nothing's more attractive in a woman and women than confidence. So yeah, that's gonna draw a real man. Angel of balance. Yeah, you're gonna have to still balance no matter how much you divvy up the chores or respond. It's gonna take a lot of balancing act for you. Sometimes you're gonna want to work to the wee hours on something you're driven on, but you can't forget about your familial ties or your connections or your husband or your friends or you're going to have to still balance it all and make it fun, you know. Appreciation, that's how you make it fun. You appreciate that you have this family, that you have your spouse, that you have these projects and these passions. It's all good. It's not a burden. It's to enrich your life. Yin and yang, that's that balance again. That side of you that is ambitious and a side of you that's laid back and receiving from others and being nurtured or nurturing others, or your female side, your natural side that you have that is taking care of others, even though that is more action oriented. To me, that's yang too, but it's also nurturing, like the Queen of Pentacles I'm thinking about, or the Empress. She's in receiving mode, but she's also loving for all, always making sure everyone is comfortable. So balancing all of it is important. See, okay, I'll get a few tarot, see what comes out. I was not going to, but and I'm going to pull a few names. Holy Spirit said pull some names of these queens, but also their kings that may be very supportive of them. All right, what about this, Holy Spirit? Anything else on this? Queens rising. Oh, wow. Wands, and all the way over here, Five of Cups. Five of Cups is disappointment, and that's all the way over here. The Six of Wands is public accolades, and it came out with the Seven of Wands. Standing on business, standing on truth, in front of everyone, for all to see, whether that's, again, in the I was going to say in the courtroom, but no, I'm not thinking the courtroom, in the meeting room, or on your channel, or wherever, okay? But Five of Cups, why be disappointed? It came out all together. Maybe it could bring some sadness or grief to your life when you're publicly doing that. Maybe you'll get attention, unwanted attention, but don't let that get you down, because the prayer card came up. So whenever you are not just underestimated and undervalued, but being attacked for standing up for what you believe in, just go to God and you'll be fine. I guarantee you on that one. What else, Holy Spirit? It's tarot. It's a lot of wands out here. Leo, Sag, Aries. Two of Wands. Planning. So plan for that. That's what I'm getting for that. Plan on how you're going to deal with that. And to me, that's prayer, but whatever works for you. Think in advance. How are you going to handle the scrutiny, the challenges that come? They say temperance. Again, fire, Sag. But balancing, alchemizing it. Turn that challenge into a way that you can make things better at the workplace. You know what I mean? See it as an opportunity to make real change in the world. And also balancing out your emotions so that you don't take it personal. Realize that people may not be as ready for change as you are bringing it, but they will have to get used to it. So, my lovelies, oh, how can I forget the names? Okay. This was a fun one. I enjoyed this one. I enjoy them all, but particularly like this message. Okay. Let's see what names we have. Again, these are queens and they're kings. Paige, Preston, Weston, Bridget, Ben, Mason, Quinn, Reagan, Sutton, Ellison, Camden, Kendall, Damon, Tyler, Lyle, Lynette, Letty, Tutankhamun, Ramses, Tutmos. These are Egyptian. You may have Egyptian roots. Menes, Imhotep, Sethi, and Khufu. Aaliyah, Sasha, Zori, Mia, Imani, Asha, Jade, Kiara, and Pooja, Divya, Radha, Neha, Sunita, and Gita. Some Indian names as well here. I want to thank you for being here. And Queens, I will see you in the next reading.